Last week, we asked if you would approve of using taxpayer money to help pay for a Lubbock downtown revitalization project. This isn't official, but it has been talked about, although 72% of you said city leaders need to find another way. And as always, we thank you for sharing. What a mess with the Iowa caucus this past week. You see, candidates want those results quickly so donors can see them, give a big victory speech in front of a big cheering crowd. And it didn't really happen that way. It took several days to get the final results. And this week, Texas Democratic Party officials claimed they were told by the Secretary of State's office that they wouldn't get election night numbers either when Texas votes because their new reporting system hasn't been finished yet. They need that to dole out the majority of the state's 228 delegates and so candidates can have their moment. But a spokesperson for the Secretary of State's office told the Texas Tribune that there would indeed be numbers ready on the night of Super Tuesday, which is March 3rd. We will see. One Democratic candidate you didn't see a lot of in Iowa or New Hampshire has been a former mayor of New York, billionaire Michael Bloomberg. That's because his campaign has a very different strategy with Texas as a main target. You've probably seen that on this channel. Bloomberg has spent more than $50 million of his own money on TV ads nationwide, $4 million of that in markets all over Texas, including our own. And as our Phil Prazen shows us, that plan is rubbing some folks the wrong way.
Mike Bloomberg for president.
Mike Bloomberg has already jumped the largest hurdle for a campaign in Texas, having money to spread the message in every media market in the state, paid for by his own personal fortune. But candidates like Julian Castro say that strength is actually a weakness, claiming he's trying to simply buy the election. I asked Bloomberg's senior advisor Tim O'Brien about that.
There's a long tradition of people with resources and wealth running for the presidency, from George Washington to Franklin Roosevelt to John Kennedy. And the notion that someone shouldn't enter a race simply because they're wealthy, I think really cuts the conversation needlessly short.
O'Brien says Bloomberg already considers this race a general election, taking on President Trump directly. He's already pledged more than $15 million to register new voters and get them to vote. Much of that money will go to Texas.
I think he understands that there's a broad swath of Americans who feel at sea and are worried about being able to coalesce around a candidate who can unite the party and take on Donald Trump.
But will that sway Texas Democrats to vote Bloomberg? Ed Espinoza, executive director of Progress Texas, says not by itself, but they are listening.
I think that his positions on gun safety have given him some pretty good progressive bona fides. We'll have to see how he plays out on the rest of the issues. Where do you stand on voting rights? Where do you stand on reproductive rights? Where do you stand on climate change and health care? Those are going to be critical issues for him to address in this primary.